Hello everyone, MissCavyQueen, otherwise known as Emma. Today I'm going to be doing a requested video on how to use fleece bedding. So I'm going to be using Pashmina's cage today. As you can see, it's filthy. I've already swept some of it out, but I mean, you can see that there's tomato stains, there's hay all over, bedding from her litter. It's just generally messy, so I'm going to use it for my demo. I don't think I've shown it in any of my other videos yet, but this is a new bed I got for the pigs. It was about like $11 and it's much nicer than my other bed, and it was half the price, I guess, so yeah, so I really like that. So for just daily cleaning for fleece bedding, you're going to want to get a little dustpan and broom. It's a must-have for using fleece. I love it, and it does a pretty good job at sweeping everything out. Wasn't sure at the start, but it does work. Yeah, so usually I'll take out the food dish and I'll change the litter box when I'm sweeping it out every day, and I'll just take out things. And usually when I sweep out my pigs' cages, I put them in their playpens too, just to so they're not freaked out when I'm sweeping out in there. So there's Pashmina at the far end. Pash, come here, sweetie. Come here. You don't want to come say hi? Okay. Anyways, back to the cage cleaning. Yeah. So if you're just doing this daily, which you're going to have to if you're using fleece, or if you're completely cleaning it out, which I'm going to show how to do in today's demo. So I got my dustpan and broom, and so what I would do every day, which is kind of hard to do with one hand, but I would just sweep everything in. So I'd sweep as much as I can off the fleece, like that. So I've pretty much got all the poops off already. And there's just a lot of hay that gets stuck to it, but I'm not too concerned about that. So, yeah, so you want to sweep everything out as best you can. And I'm just going to pause the video now and take off the lid. Alright, hold on. Okay, so I've just taken off the lid. There you see the cage lid. Just so I can show you what the setup I have under the fleece bedding is. So, if I show under the fleece, you will see I have a towel. Now this towel is folded in half, so that makes it kind of double absorbency. As you can see, it's about 1/4 inch thick when it's folded. And you can see if I pull it over here, you can see a spot where she often pees. Not in the litter box, unfortunately, because she's decided she doesn't like using the litter box. But yeah, so, but you can tell, if you look on this side, you can't really see where she's peed, so, but when you look under, you can see. So that means the fleece is doing a good job at wicking away moisture. And having a towel underneath is a must because it will absorb everything that comes out of your fleece. I wouldn't recommend using newspaper. It'll just get soggy and wet and gross. You've got to use at least something close to a towel. Yeah, and also a very important tip, before you use your fleece, wash it at least 3 to 4 times just on its own, just in water. So don't add any soap to your washing machine unless you want to, maybe once, because just to get it truly clean. And then wash it just in water and dry it, and then wash it just to get it nice and used, and that will help it wick away moisture. You never want to use any fabric softeners when washing fleece as well. Yeah, so when I do my laundry, I wash all of the blankets and fleeces together and do one big load. Okay, so now I'm gonna shake off this fleece blanket outside and show you what it looks like after that. Okay, so I'm just back from outside, and I've just thrown the fleece blanket down over the cage to show everyone. This is after it's being shaken off outside, which I would recommend doing if you can, unless it's the middle of winter, of course, just to get everything off your fleece before you put it in the washing machine, because sweeping alone doesn't get off everything. Neither does shaking it, as you can see. But yeah, so you can see there's pea stains here and some food stains. There's still some hay stuck on it, as well as a ton of fur, but I find a lot of the fur comes out in the dryer. When you take out the lint collector, you'll see it. So yeah, if you have any stubborn stains from urine, I would suggest soaking the fleece in warm sudsy water, maybe overnight or for a couple hours before you wash it, just to loosen up the stains. Or you can try scrubbing it a bit, because I have had some stains. I'll just show on an older version of fleece, but I don't know how well you can see that. There, you can see in the fleece that there is some caked in urine, and this fleece has been washed twice now, and it really hasn't come out, so I'm going to need to soak that to get that out of the fleece. Because sometimes they'll pee in the same spot over and over again, and that's what happens. You get a big urine stain. So I would suggest washing. If you have that sort of issue, just suds it up, give it a scrub, or let it soak before washing it. Hi, little Winnie. How are you? How are you, sweetie? Hi, Juno. Alright. Yeah, so what else do I have to say about fleece? So after you have washed it 4 times, it's perfectly fine to wash it with a bit of laundry detergent. Not too much, but just enough to make sure that it is clean and sanitary for them to use again. And then you always want to put a fresh towel underneath, because that's really what gets the grossest, is the towel that absorbs the urine. So, and as you can see, the urine's gone all the way through the towel and onto the cage. You probably can't really see it, but you don't want to get urine marks on your cage bottom. So every time I clean out my cage, I also wash out the bottom. So you still have to do that when you're using fleece. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna put Peshmina's cage back together now for her with the fresh fleece, because I have doubles for everyone. I have about 6 different fleece blankets, actually probably closer to 8, so that way I can get their cages set up while I'm washing the old fleece, and then they'll have fresh ones ready for next week again. Oh, also for cutting your fleece, I would recommend you just lay out your fleece blanket perfectly flat, not like how I have it. And then you want to put your cage bottom, flip it over top of your fleece blanket, and then cut generously around the edges, leaving enough fleece so that it will hang over the edge like that, just so that they can't really pull it into the cage and get under the fleece. Yeah, so that's how you want to cut your fleece, or you can measure it and just make sure you leave enough for the edges so that it's not completely tight. And if you're using it for a CNC cage, I would recommend just measuring it with a measuring tape and cutting it out that way. And I'd recommend also having it go over the edges as opposed to just having it at the bottom layer, because they tend to try and dig under it. And to prevent that, I use, hold on, I've got to find it, I use bulldog clips. So I just clip it onto the edge of the fleece, and it's tight, and that way they can't get under it. Because then you get a really big mess if they go under the fleece and just poop on the towel and stuff. Just makes it a lot easier to clean when they don't get under the fleece. Hi, Pash. Where'd you go? It's so bright and sunny I can't see you. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Alright, so I'm going to put the cage back together now. Alright, there you have it. We've got our nice clean cage. Excuse me. I still have to clean out the litter box, but other than that, you can see Pash now has a clean cage. And if you find that sweeping it out isn't working enough for you, then you can just take out the whole fleece if you want, maybe twice a week, and give it a good shake outside. But yeah, sweeping every day is the key to being a good owner of fleece bedding. The better you take care of it, the longer it will last as a bedding for you. And it's extremely cheap, and it's great to use. I'll just demonstrate now how it uses, or how it works for water or urine, how it goes through, how quickly. So I'm just gonna, there's a few drops, you probably can't see. So the drops are on top, they're slowly going through. So, and then if I, sorry, that wasn't enough water. There. See how fast that goes through. It only stays as water drops on the top for a few seconds, and then it goes directly through. And as it comes into contact with the towel, see as I push on it a bit, the water is completely gone through now. It's completely wicked through the fleece and has now been absorbed by the towel underneath. And that allows the fleece to dry now too. So it's hardly damp now when I touch it. So that's a good way to test if your fleece is working. Not necessarily in your pig's clean cage, but if you just want to try with a piece of your fleece, just put a few water drops on it and wait and see how well it gets absorbed into the towel underneath. And that'll give you an idea of how well your fleece is working. I thought I'd better feature Cappy and Pippin in the video too. So I'm going to give them a little piece of an alfalfa block. What's that? Oh, yummy. So there's their dirty litter box. It needs to be changed, clearly. There's their fleece bedding. If you do have a pet bed like the one I have, or a small pet fleece blanket like the one I have, they're completely machine washable. I just pop them in when I do my fleece blankets and towels all together. And I've never had an issue with my fleece blankets, the color bleeding or anything like that. So I would not worry about that, especially if you've washed it a few times. So I just put all my different colors together. Oh, and also I got my fleece blankets at Walmart. For those of you who live in North America, you can get fleece blankets from Walmart. If you have a CNC cage, I'd recommend you get a blanket about the size of a double bed, and that's about $20. And so what I did is I got one size that big, and then that's what the pink pinstriped one is. It was for a double bed. And so I cut it and got about 3 cage liners out of it for their fleece bedding. So that's always useful. What else? Oh yes, and then for a small fleece blanket, just the one, like a small size that you might use if you're sitting on the couch, was about $10, anywhere from $5 to $10 for a small blanket. So it really is cheaper than buying lots of bedding. I still have to buy litter for their litter boxes, but I find that's not too expensive. So yeah, and there's little Pippin and Cappy. Okay, so I hope everybody enjoyed my video and found it useful for how to use fleece bedding. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye!